Hi guys, good morning and welcome to the channel. This is Niladri Mukherjee and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. I do practice here in Guelph, Ontario. This is going to be a very quick one today. I want to talk about GCMS notes and whether it is still worth applying for the notes, right? So, probably you all know by now what is a GCMS note. A GCMS note is a global case management system notes when your visa get rejected, when any of your Canadian visa gets rejected, be it a study permit or be it a student visa or even your permanent residency. You should ideally apply for GCMS notes. The officer's note, those notes should give you a comprehensive idea about the officer's notes, and like what the officers have written under each observations, under each, I will say, each sequence, for you to get a comprehensive idea about why exactly the officers have rejected your visa. Now, once you see the rejection letter, be it as be it a study visa, when you see a simple rejection letter under section 216, that doesn't really tell you a lot. The same thing is true for your visitor visa as well. What you see under section 179 subsection B again really doesn't tell you a lot, because those are really the standard templates. So practically and most technically speaking and scientifically speaking, you should apply for GCMS notes when you ideally get a rejection, right? But is it really a practical idea at this point in time? And I'm really raising this question because as of right now, at the time of making this video, if you apply for a GCMS notes for a visit visa rejection, for a study visa rejection, you really have to wait for a period of 3 to 3.5 months in order for you just to get the notes, right? So the processing time has really gone that long. It used to be somewhere around between 20 to 25 days, maybe a month at max. But these days it is taking well over 3 months for most of my clients, regardless of where you applying it from, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, anywhere in the Middle East, or any other country. The average processing time that I personally see is a period of 3 months. Now, mind you, if it's a visit visa rejection case, most of the clients really do not have that much amount of time to wait for them to get the notes, to understand the notes, and then to make a reapplication and then wait for another few months maybe to get a decision, right? So we are looking at a processing time of 5 to 6 months on an average in that case. Do you really have that much amount of time? 90% of the people will tell me no, particularly because we're in the spring. Most of the tourists would want to come here in Canada during summer, right? So which maybe start from maybe May or June, right? So you really do not have that much amount of time. This is a case of tourist visa. What if you have applied for a for a student visa and the same got rejected again under the same reasons, such as 216 subsection 1, that you will not leave Canada at the end of your stay because of all the same reasons, because of your course alignment, because of your purpose of visit, maybe due to your financial status, your home ties, and blah blah blah. What you really have to do at this point in time, if you really do not have that much amount of time, because for even for student visa, if your course is starting in fall, the government has taken a lot of time anyways to process your application maybe. So again, you do not have that much amount of time, right? So if you apply for GCMS notes, you are really looking at deferring your semester. Are you really in a position to do it? Most of the people are not, and that is quite understandable. That is really practical, right? What you can do in this sort of exceptional circumstances, if you will, is to introspect. Mind you, let's talk about visit visa. If you talk about the rejection letters, those are very standard rejection letters for, I would say, 99% of the clients. Section 179 subsection B, that the officers do not believe you will leave Canada based on your either your purpose of visit, based on your home ties, based on your financial situation, based on your assets, and all those things. And in some cases they will also mention that your on the probability your home ties in your basically ties to your home country is sort of less strong as compared to your ties to Canada. All of these reasons actually could be avoided without being applying for a GCMS notes. If you really introspect, look into the documents that you have submitted, look into the submission letter that you have submitted or your RCIC have submitted, or look into the letter of explanation which you have submitted, and then we'll really get to know what really has went wrong and how to make things right. GCMS notes for a visit visa application at this point is not really giving you something extraordinary information that you will come to know sudden, right? It's your application. If you take a relook at it, you really know what really went wrong. And when people come to me for a consultation, particularly for rejection cases, once I go through the documents, 99.9% of the times, if not 100% of the times, I really know what really went wrong. Similarly, if you're doing it all by yourself, if you again go through the documents, if you go through your proof of funds, if you go through your submission letter, if you go through whatever additional things that you have submitted along with the documents, you'll probably come to know what really had went wrong. And it maybe makes sense to make a foolproof application, make a perfect application one more time and resubmit it. And you know what, if you do it properly, even you will get your visa without applying for a GCMS notes. That for visit visa. Let's talk about study permit. Now, this is a little bit more interesting. This is a little bit more critical, because a visit visa is that you're coming here for a visitor, as a visitor, and you're going back. Study is a little bit more long term, as we all understand. 90% of the times what we see when people come to me for a rejection is when they reject the application are of two reasons. Number one reasons that I see is the financial thing. You may have a sponsor here in Canada, or your parents might be sponsoring your case if you are not a mature student. Understandable. But all those things all those dots need to be jotted down properly, and needs to be explained in the submission letter, needs to be explained in the letter of explanation. And you really have to provide proofs of all these things, what you were saying, otherwise saying in the submission letter or in the letter of explanation. And in most cases, I see there are not enough proofs. There are not enough validation of what you are saying. That is really, leading to rejection. The second reason that I mostly see is the course alignment. If you have a master's degree back home, you probably should not do a bachelor's degree here in Canada, right? And even if you do, 90% of the times you should not do, but even if you still do, it has to be that much strong of an application for the officers to really convince that you will come to Canada as a student, you will study that degree, and you will leave Canada at the end of your stay. Obviously, you do not have to leave Canada, but by law, you have to prove that you will leave Canada, right? The documentation is a problem for most cases. And again, when I see those documents, when I see those previously submitted application, 90% of the times, on even I would say 100% of the times, I really come to know what really has gone wrong, and hence to figure out how to make things right. So these are the two circumstances in which you can really reapply without applying for a GCMS notes. And I'm talking about as of right now, towards the end of March. Maybe during April, maybe during May, the situation would change. The GCMS notes processing time may really come down. And in that case, it is obviously more scientific to apply for the case notes, to wait for that time, get the notes, understand the notes, and then really reapply. I'm not saying you should not apply for GCMS notes. What I'm trying to talk about is that life is not always perfect. We are not always going through the most optimal situation in our life. Most of the time, we really do not have that much amount of time in hand, when the government itself is taking a lot of time to issue you maybe an acceptance letter or a rejection letter to give you a decision. These are the, if I can use the term, some of the hackings, that if you will. But again, please be mindful about it. If you're doing it on your own, make sure you do understand the law, if you do understand the regulations. And if you get a rejection, if you see a rejection, it may be a prudent idea to come for a consultation, to have me or any of your RCICs to go through everything that has really gone wrong, and then reapply. But if you're confident enough, you can do it yourself as well. But make sure to understand something. Once you apply for the first time, that is your best chance. The more you reapply, the more number of time you get a negative decision, the more it reduces your chances to get your visa the next time. Having said that, a perfectly made reapplication also works. And at this point in time, at least for my clients that I have seen, it is working really well without applying for the GCMS notes as well, primarily because of the time constraints. Maybe the situation will change in the future. I'll keep on updating you guys. If you need me to consult you, drop me a line, contact@nuvonation.ca. Go to the website, nuvonation.ca, hop onto the professional consultation tab. You will get to know all the details. And yeah, I will look forward to talking to you maybe tomorrow. Bye now.